Well, thank you for joining with us on another noonday devotion. And I really have a treat this week for our noon devotions. You should be seeing this on Tuesday. And I have the joy, again, of having our grandson, Joel Redmond, to help me with my Tuesday devotional. And then Thursday, our granddaughter, Charlie Jo, she's going to help me with my noon devotional. And I'm going to talk to them both about things they can do to stay close to God. And actually, there are things all of us can do to stay close to God. Now, first, and the most important thing is to become a Christian. And I know if you're watching the devotion, you believe that and know that. And Joel, I remember when you became a Christian. You remember how old you were?
6.
6 years old. And do you remember who prayed with you when you asked Jesus into your heart?
My dad.
Your dad. And I still remember that story. And, it was my joy to get to baptize you. Do you remember that?
I do.
I do remember. I'll always remember that. And so as a little boy at 6 years of age, you become a Christian. Interestingly, I became a Christian when I was just about the same age, not quite 7 years old. And I just knew that I felt like God wanted to come into my heart, and that's kind of what you felt. And I trusted Jesus with everything I knew, and I really never struggled about not knowing that I'm a Christian. Now, when we become a Christian, what we want to do, we want to learn to know God better. In other words, just know God better. What are some things we can do to know God better? And of course, one of those would be to read your Bible. Now, Joel, let me ask you, most days do you read your Bible? Tell the people.
It's easier when I'm at home. It's harder when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, it's hard when you're on a trip, isn't it? Like we're doing this devotion, y'all are on a little trip, but you'll be back. But when you're normally at home, every day, do you pretty much read your Bible?
I do.
Okay, that's one thing. And, we just, every time we read the Bible, we learn more about God. It helps us know more about God because that's God talking to us. And then, of course, another thing to do to stay close to God is to pray. Now, Joel, you're 8 years of age. Do you say your prayers in the morning or do you say your prayers at night? Tell the people when you pray.
Well, I definitely pray at the end of my Bible reading, and then I pray at night.
That is great. At the end of his Bible reading, and he prays at night. And, of course, if we can learn that habit, that discipline at a young age, the difference it makes. And then, of course, when you pray, you pray for yourself, ask God to help you with things. And then who else do you pray for?
My mom, my dad, and my sister.
Yeah, okay. I hope you pray for your grandparents. You don't add us to your list. Would you do that? And your other family members and your friends, you, Jay. We all need to pray for each other. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I kind of maybe expanded his prayer list a little bit. And then another thing that we do to stay close to God, it's one of the best things really, is to memorize Bible verses. Now, Joel, I know really you say fully some Bible verses, but how many Bible verses do you have in your head that you don't yet know fully, but you're working on knowing them fully?
Like 40.
Say that again.
40.
40. Well, you and I were talking about this before we made this little video. 40. Now, you do know some fully. Would you say a couple that you know fully?
Okay.
All right.
Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
That is a great verse to learn and a great verse to believe. And then, of course, well the 23rd Psalm, Would you like to say that? Because you know it fully.
Sure. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He steals my soul. For though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and thy staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of your enemy. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Now that's what you call knowing a Bible verse fully. You did a really good job on that. And then let me mention quickly one other thing that we can do to stay close to God, and that is, of course, go to church and hear sermons. Now, you're 8 years of age. Now, you've already heard a lot of sermons. You've heard me preach a lot of sermons. Do you like sermons?
I do.
What kind of sermons do you like best?
Maybe not as long.
Not long sermons.
Not like 45 minutes, but maybe 35 minutes.
But yeah, about 30, 35 minutes would be a good length for some. Maybe even a little shorter than that. Some I try to preach about maximum 30 minutes is what I'm shooting for, and I hope to get through in 25. But sometimes I run a little bit over. I've been working on that, Joel, over 50 years. I've never really quite got that mastered, but I'm working on it, and I'm still working. In fact, I'm going to be preaching again on Sunday morning, the last Sunday morning in September, and I'm working on that sermon now, and I'm determined, Joel, I want you to watch it. You'll be out of town when I preach that sermon, but you watch it on the streaming. You put your clock to me and see if I can do it in less than 30 minutes. Would you do that?
I'll look at it at the beginning.
Yeah, I know you will. Well, probably he's not the only one looking at their clock when we are preaching sermons or any preachers preaching sermons. Well, I want to thank you today. You've done a great job. And the point is this: whether you're 8 or 18 or 88 or 78 or whatever the age may be, all of us need to do things to stay close to God. And they're very simple things. The key is to do them with consistency. And when you do that, God will bless, and you'll be amazed how good you'll do. Well, Joel, thanks for helping me today. And I look forward to the next time you and I can do a devotional together. Good.